Hi guys, it's Shell, Heart of It All Custom Creations. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button to see future videos. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. So today I am making a Valentine tumbler that's like 4 chunky rows stripes. That's what I'm looking for. So let's get started. I'm using a 20-ounce sublimation tumbler. I've already sanded it down and wiped it off with alcohol. And now I'm measuring to see how tall it is. I already know, but I'm showing you guys. It's about 8 inches tall. So I'm going to be doing 4 rows, 3 with glitter, 1 with vinyl. So I need to make sure that I mark out every 2 inches. And this just helps me keep my lines as straight as possible and where I want to start my tape. So that's what I'm doing here, is marking out every 2 inches. And you can see right here just the little pencil marks that I made. So after that's done, I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm going to go right above the line on the top one and go around, make sure that it's as even as possible, and then smooth that out. And then I'm just checking to make sure that it is 2 inches. And then for the third row, I'm doing the same thing. Here, my tape didn't want to line up as well, so I'm going to show you a little trick to make sure that you get a very straight line. I'm going to measure again to make sure that it says 4, and it does in some areas, but somehow my tape went around. So I removed the painter's tape and I'm going to grab my cup edging tool, and it has this attachment that you can put a pencil in and find exactly where you want, and then you tighten it and then hold the pencil and just move your cup in a circle and it'll create that line for you. I will link this in the description box below, along with everything else that I use. So after I get that, technically it's a second stripe, but it's the third stripe down. Anyway, I'm going to do the 4th one. And this just helps to make sure that when you are applying that tape, see that you can see the lines, that you just follow that line. So for the third row, or the third stripe, I'm going just below, right on that line, because the second stripe is going to be where I place the vinyl. So then I'm just going right above it on technically the 4th, because there's no need to put tape on all 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is then after that is my vinyl. And I got this from the Vinyl Cottage. I just thought this was so pretty. And there is the name of it, Hearts 05. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the little excess at the excess white up at the top, so that we can make sure that we start with a very fresh straight line. So once all my cutting is done, this is what we're left with. And I'm just going to go ahead and do what I normally do, cut off a little bit, add it back, and then wrap it around my tumbler just to make sure that it does fit fine. And it does. It fit perfectly. So what I'm going to do, and I noticed that those 2 hearts kind of overlap each other, and I wanted to, you'll see here, I wanted to cut around that second heart that goes over the first, just to not have this harsh line. This was one of my first mistakes because it ended up looking awful. So, but I do cut around it, and it looks fine until it gets under epoxy. But so I'm just cutting to make sure that the little heart's showing as well. And in the end, this ends up getting completely covered up, so it wouldn't have mattered. So save yourself if you plan to do this. So I get that smoothed out, and then I'm going to start with the painting, and I'm using Ice, Pink Voltage, and Babe. And then I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to put the Pink Voltage up at the top. So I remove that tape, and then I just place it down on top of the vinyl so that I don't get any paint onto my vinyl. So I'm going to start at the very top, and I'm going to use this magenta paint. That's what it's called, paint. And I'm going to use the paint as my adhesive. And so I'm putting a little bit thicker on of a coat than I typically would, and do a couple different coats to get that solid background. This Pink Voltage by the Glitter Heart Co. is an amazing glitter, and it covers really well. So I really wasn't concerned with any white peeking through, just as long as I had the adhesion. So then I'm going to move down to the very last stripe, and it's a light pink, but I knew that pink that I just put in the cup does not cover well at all. And so I wanted a little bit of pink because the pink that I'm using, Babe by the glitter guy, is very translucent glitter. So I did need a base of some sort. So I did mix a little bit of that darker magenta in with that light pink. And here I have a really gorgeous pink as my base. And again, I'm going to use this paint as my adhesive to add the glitter. So I just make sure that I get everything covered fairly well. And any spots that I may have missed, I just go back in and touch it up after. So now I'm going to use Babe by the glitter guy. And like I said, it's a very translucent pink glitter. So I definitely wanted a base on that. And I did get very good coverage with the paint, enough for it to adhere. Tap that off, and then I'm going to pull off the tape from my white section. Now here, I'm not going to paint. I'm just going to use Mod Podge. And I'm going to use Ice by the glitter guy. And I just make sure that I put a thick enough coat, because Mod Podge dries fairly quick. So I do a thick enough coat that I know it's not going to dry right away. And there were just a few spots that I did need to touch up after I got all the glitter on, where it had dried too quickly. So here is after it is all dry and the spots fixed. Everything is ready to go. I'm going to spray seal it twice with Rust-Oleum clear coat. And then I give it, only needed 2 coats. It needed 2 coats. I thought I was only going to need 1, but I did need a second coat. So here's the vinyl that I'm going to use to cover up my little mistake. I found this on Creative Fabrica, and it came as one piece, but I took it apart so that I could do, and then I did an offset of the heart. So I'm adding the word love to the magenta heart. And then I'm going to add the bigger heart to the offset that I made. And then I will place this over the boo-boo. And I do believe I do show you coming up here what it looks like underneath. Here you go. As you can see that line very clear, and I don't like that. So that's why I made this big enough to go over that entire mistake, but you can still see the vinyl on the other side. So I wasn't too absolutely concerned. And then I remove my transfer tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some black lines here. I'm popping any air bubbles that there were. There was only a couple. So I just used my weeding pen to poke a hole and squeeze that out. So now I'm going to add the black lines to go around. Now, because the word or the heart is over those lines, I just went right over the heart, and then I'm going to cut out those pieces so that it looks like the love is sitting on top of the lines. I could have done this backwards, but I did not want you to be able to see the bump of the line underneath the decal. So this was my solution to that. And I think it worked out great. So I'm going to line each of those stripes that are divided with the black vinyl. Now that I got the lines on, I'm just checking to make sure everything looks good, and I'm loving how it turned out. I add a coat of Ccdiy Quick Coat, added 2 final coats of epoxy, and this gorgeous tumbler is done. And I really love the color combinations and how it turned out. This will be available on the website for purchase if you choose. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a great big thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.